I am Silas Camp, and I am a creative technologies major and with a minor in psychology, and this is my senior portfolio critique. And so to start off, back in my senior year of high school, I was kind of started looking at colleges, fields of study, and I was kind of starting to look into like product design, graphic design, just kind of like creating things. And I was looking at industrial design at Georgia Tech. And then my dad took me on a tour to Barry to kind of meet with some professors. And so I met with engineering professor, a psychology professor, and then this pink-haired professor that talked to me about creative technologies and what we do and kind of just what it is. And I was sold. It was what I've been looking for. Hadn't really found anything else that was interesting besides this kind of like product design idea. And I mean, it was it. And so fast forward 4 years later, and I've made many projects. And a lot of these projects have kind of followed this theme of designing aesthetically homey products that personalize living spaces. And so today I kind of want to go over a couple examples of these projects that I've made that kind of follow this theme. And so for my first example, it was one I made back in physical computing class with the one and only Chris Whitmire. And this was My Cloud. And what it was this interactive lamp for that supplied ambient lighting. And it was the goal was to kind of have it kind of merge into the wall and ceiling and just kind of have this like blend in into the room with this it was like a polyfill. I was able to kind of like fluff out and kind of give this cloud feel and have lights underneath to kind of simulate different states of the sky. So you can see had a little like rainstorm on, sunny day that would kind of go through bright colors, overcast, rainbow, and then like a starry night state. And all this was controlled by a little laser, a little device I called Cloud Control. And it was just a simple two buttons that allowed you to kind of go between the different states while jam-packing all the needed microcontrol and buttons inside there. And all the kind of like gross cords and stuff that would usually kind of take away from the aesthetic of a lamp like this are actually kind of hidden behind the bed frame, as well as an external power supply that is plugged into the wall to help supply power to all 420 LEDs. And so kind of the overall like kind of reason behind it was I wanted to allow students to kind of express themselves in their room, whether that be the kind of weather outside, you know, if it's raining and kind of have that rainy vibe on the inside as well, but also if maybe what they're feeling on the inside, if they're feeling overcast, even though it might be bright and sunny outside, and just allowing students to kind of express themselves, personalize their space, and kind of have their bedroom feel a little more like a home. And so for my second example was one made pretty recently in CNC Robotics called the Game Station. And what this was a multi-purpose stool that allowed gamers to kind of hold various gaming accessories, whether it be two controllers that can fit in this little like pocket up here. I got a little hook on the side that can hold headphones, as well as a flat surface on top for any snacks. You can prop your feet up. It can also be a stool if you need an extra chair, as well as a little cutout that can hold drinks and stuff that you wouldn't want necessarily to spill over while you're gaming. And so, and I wanted to incorporate different aspects of the PlayStation logo to kind of personalize this. And so I have the actual old PlayStation logo with the different colors on one side, as well as incorporating the different logos from the buttons on this side. And both were an aesthetic choice, but this one actually was kind of also functional with having the more pockets to kind of fit whatever you want. I actually designed the circle to be able to fit my water bottle and most water bottles to kind of slide underneath the side. And so it just kind of allows gamers to kind of personalize and fit inside their room without being like too obnoxious, but still being functional and having that aesthetic to express their love for PlayStation. And so moving on to the Pixel Wave display, one that I made back in interactive product design. And this is another wall display that was not as grand as the Cloud, but very customizable. I was able to have two different programs. One being one that you could connect to your phone, and it would connect to, and you would be able to control it using an app on your phone. And you could have different like graphics, animation stuff, wide variety, and then be able to customize those colors as well. So for anything that you're wanting to display on your wall on this little device, you can definitely do that. I created, it was actually 4 printed circuit boards because creating a big PCB is incredibly expensive. So having the identical PCBs that could be connected to each other to display an array of 100 LEDs. And then I wanted to kind of separate them into individual pixels. So I had the black ABS, the kind of grid to kind of separate the LEDs, but then having a kind of like white plastic on top to kind of diffuse them to create these individual squares of light. And the other program that I made, as seen up here, plugged into your computer, and it took in, using the microphone on your computer, it took in the sound from your speaker, from any like music that you're playing, and displays it in real time. They did kind of different frequencies and showing kind of old equalizer like display. And that was definitely my favorite, as I love music and I was able to kind of express myself through this digital art form on my wall, just kind of above my desk, and really kind of personalize my desk area. And so to conclude with my capstone genre mark. So over the past semester, I have created genre themed metal bookmarks, and I have sold them various times. And kind of the reason behind this whole like idea of genre themed metal bookmarks was between my own personal experience and research that I had done. There's not a whole lot of like genre themed bookmarks, especially ones of higher quality. I just thought it was weird considering that like books whole thing are like genres, they're split up into genres. And so I wanted to give an opportunity for people to express their favorite genre and love, and kind of personalize their books with these like higher quality bookmarks with them being metal. Definitely more subtle than my like other products, but it still allows that kind of personalization and expressing oneself with their books. And so I created my own logo to kind of have the incorporate both like the genre part and it being a bookmark, as well as kind of having the overall like old school ribbon bookmark, just kind of incorporating, kind of giving an idea of what people, giving an idea of what I'm selling. And so I wanted to create a wide variety to kind of help have reach as many interests as possible. So I have 6 different genres. I got mystery, horror, fantasy, got like a spiritual devotional one, romance, sci-fi, and then I was a majority of my market was the Barry community, Barry alumni and stuff. So I wanted to be able to incorporate that, a Barry College themed one, as well as one that was just kind of more of a generic reading one for someone with maybe a more niche interest in like a genre that I'm not selling. So I just kind of incorporate that that other category. And so all of the bookmarks had a back to them. And so each one had like some sort of quote that was relating to that theme and kind of kept up with that theme, as well as kind of having my little logo in the corner. And I also allowed, when I was selling in person, I had a bowl of like different color tassels to kind of continue that personalization and kind of customization of kind of wanting their own, favorite color and just kind of adding a little to it. A lot of these are kind of just the default black. You can see I had a couple of silver, blue. I think I had 20 different colors that people could choose from. And so another goal I had was to sell at least 100 bookmarks and to also create at least $300 in profit. I was able to reach the $300 in profit a little while ago with kind of knocking down the price per unit. Things weren't as expensive, and I was kind of able to kind of narrow down that the amount of expense. But then also I sold in Cranor this past Wednesday and was actually able to get the last 16 bookmarks to reach my total of 100. You can kind of see the breakdown a little bit. The goal was to sell at least like around 50 for the spring market, which I overachieved. And then the first time selling in Cranor, I only sold one, but I was able to see Andrew actually sell his the color berry, and he was bringing everyone to the table. And so I was actually kind of change up my strategy a little bit. I kind of was under the assumption that if people were interested, they would come by my table. And that was not the case. So I switched on my strategy and I was able to kind of sell a lot more at spring market. And then I was able to go back and sell at Cranor a few more times to get my goal of 30. Etsy was not as successful as I had hoped. Those 10 bookmarks were people that I knew. The goal was to kind of reach beyond Barry. But it wasn't successful, but I was able to kind of make up for it with the other places. And then also creating a spreadsheet so I could document all this and so I was able to kind of create this summary, had documenting what they bought, how many they bought, where we bought it, so spring market, Etsy, Cranor, and then what type of payment. I was able to kind of calculate nice little equation to calculate the cost with any discounts, because I also messed up on a couple and I sold those at a higher cost just to kind of at least get it out there and make some sort of profit. And I also sold on Etsy for a little bit more because Etsy does take some from the sale. So I wanted to kind of make that back without making it too expensive. So also calculating that. As you can see, this is my kind of setup in Cranor, as well as the spring market. Kind of had some books laid out to kind of give the vibe. I actually had a couple of people come up to the table because of a book they saw and recognized, which is super cool. And kind of my final goal for this was to mainly raise awareness, because it's kind of hard to sell something if nobody knows it exists. So I created an Instagram account, and the goal was to follow 120 people and hopes get at least 100 followers back to kind of allow people to see my posts and stuff. So I made a bunch of different posts. I made a couple about like kind of the design process. I had another one kind of like punching the holes for the tassels. I had a post for every bookmark, just kind of showing it off and being like, hey, I got a new bookmark. And then also kind of promoting, hey, I'm going to be selling in spring market. Hey, I'm going to be selling in Cranor. See me at these times. So just kind of get the word out there and have it so that people can actually buy my product and be able to express themselves through these bookmarks. And I also it was also a way to have my Etsy shop link so that people could find that online outside of that. So moving forward, right after graduation, I plan on driving down to my hometown in Sarasota, Florida, and kind of just celebrate graduating with some friends and old friends and some family. And then right after celebrating, going to Ultimate D3 college championship for nationals in Seattle, Washington with the Barry Bucks. It's been super fun to be on the team and been able to go to nationals for the past 5 years. And after that, I will continue to apply to like product design, because that's kind of been my theme. That's what I've been interested in for a long time. But recently, after taking the 399 course in this past semester in the fall, I really enjoyed the data visualization and like taking in data and kind of making it make sense. So I started to kind of change my applications to be more data science and data analyst jobs. And with this, I need to kind of boost my resume a little bit more, get some certificates, learn specifically Python. It's a lot. I've seen a lot on applications like, hey, it'd be great if you knew Python. And just kind of strengthening those skills that I learned in 399 and just kind of expanding on those so I'd be more qualified for those jobs. And Thank you.